All right, guys, let's kick things off in the Eastern Conference. We'll begin with the New York Rangers, who won the President's Trophy versus the Washington Capitals.
Yes, the curse of the President's Trophy looms large, but this is your classic David versus Goliath matchup. I think the Rangers are better in every single aspect, whether it be goaltending, defense, forwards, coaching. Maybe that's close, but I don't know. I just don't see a way for Washington. What do you guys think?
Carberry did an amazing job to get this team into the playoffs. The Rangers are, of course, led by Artemi Panarin, who had 120 points.
Yeah, they were very, very healthy this year, so they had a lot of good luck on their side. Shesterkin, not the best start to the season, but if he can really round into playoff form, watch out.
Yeah, he is trending in the right direction. He was much better in the second half, and you'd rather see your goalie hot late than early. So I think he'll be fine in the playoffs.
And what about the youngsters for the New York Rangers?
Well, bit of a mixed bag there. You think about that youngster line that they've had in the playoffs the last 3 years. Well, Philip Hedl is injured. Maybe he comes back at some point after being written off. He is skating again. But the happy news is finally, first overall pick, Alexei Lafreniere has arrived. He scored 28 goals this season. I'm really eager to see what he can do in the playoffs when things get rough and tumble. He's a big body who can mix it up. Third member of that line, another big body, former second overall pick, Kaapo Kakko. Only 19 points this season. They need more from him in the playoffs.
And a big special teams advantage for the New York Rangers. They were third in penalty kill and third on the power play. Special teams also important at this time of year, so watch out for that.
And I'm curious if we'll see young Matt Rempe in the lineup.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get some minutes on the fourth line. He doesn't play a lot of minutes, but if things get rough and tumble, maybe he sends a message to Tom Wilson, although I'm not sure that fight would go very well for him. Could fire up the boys.
Well, let's talk about the Washington Capitals. What do these guys bring to the table?
Well, obviously Ovechkin put the team on his back, but let's not overlook Charlie Lindgren. He was excellent down the stretch. I think if they stand any chance at all in this series, he's going to have to play out of his mind.
And Alexander finishes with 31 goals.
Yes, so he is now creeping up on that all-time goal-scoring record, but he wants to add some playoff goals to his stats.
Yeah, he's only 41 goals away.
He doesn't have Nick Backstrom passing the puck anymore. This year's scoring leader for the Caps, Dylan Strome, reclamation project, who's looked pretty good in a first-line role for the Caps this year.
Caps will be relying a lot on John Carlson. He was healthy this year. He played in all 82 games, picked up 52 points, and he's massive on the power play.
Yes, and that power play, although it had a really bad start to the season, it started to heat up late, and they're going to have to at least try to match forces with the Rangers on the special teams. That's going to be a big part of their success or failure.
All right, guys, let's get our picks in there. Mark, who are you going with?
Going for a gentleman's sweep for the Rangers. They take it in 5.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. Rangers in 5. They're going to be too much.
I'm not giving the Capitals much of a chance here. I'm going to go with the Rangers in a sweep.
Okay, let's stay in the Metro. Let's take a look at the other series between the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders.
Yes, we do have to be honest with you, loyal listeners. The game just took place, game 1 of that series. We just watched it. So we're a little late to this one, but we still have some thoughts on it.
Yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes, that was a huge trade acquisition they got in Jake Gensel.
Yeah, he finished with 25 points in his last 17 games as a Cane, and we know what he can do in the playoffs, so this is the perfect ad, I think.
Absolutely, and as Evgeny Kuznetsov with a big goal in Game 1. We've already seen the bird dance, so that's exciting times as well. I really love the coaching matchup in this one, though. Patrick Waugh, Rod Brindamore, some fiery personalities. It's going to be quite the battle.
Yeah, these are guys who are both proven winners, both guys that can fire up the troops, so I think this is going to be a pretty gritty, hard-fought series.
The special teams battle in this series is going to be really interesting. The Hurricanes finished with the second best PP. They were first in the penalty kill. And the Islanders, well, not so much.
So good. This is really surprising to me because when I think of the Islanders, I think of lockdown defense. But they had the worst penalty kill in the league. Not among playoff teams, in the league.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting goaltending battle as well. The New York Islanders in Game 1 go with Semyon Varlamov. Of course, they have Ilya Sorokin back there, so that's going to be a fun battle.
And the Carolina Hurricanes, they've had a bit of a goalie carousel this season.
Yeah.
And Freddie Anderson is back and healthy, and he looks locked in.
Yeah, it is probably comforting knowing that they have Pyotr Kachenkov in the wings if they do need him. Freddie, of course, with his injury history. And I think we've seen that a lot of Stanley Cup teams now, they need to go 2, maybe 3 goalies deep to make a run.
And, of course, the Hurricanes are led by Sebastian Aho, who had an excellent season with 89 points in 78 games.
Yes, but Jeff, you forget that the New York Islanders have their very own Sebastian Aho. He was not deployed in Game 1. He's a secret weapon. You throw him in, you cancel out the Ahos, we got a brand new ball game, folks.
Sure. I mean, it might give a guy like Andrei Svechnikov a chance to show his playoff game. He had a bit of an up and down year. They're going to be relying on him. Hopefully he doesn't get in a fight, though.
Yeah, big year for Seth Jarvis, who finished the season with 33 goals. But what do you guys think of the Islanders' offense?
Not the most confidence-inspiring group up front. They are led by Matthew Barzal, point per game, pretty impressive. Bo Horvat, here's a guy that they brought in hoping he could be a 40-40 guy like he was in Vancouver. He's kind of regressed to what he's been for most of his career. A decent secondary scorer, but I don't know. Brock Nelson was their best goal scorer, but again, not a guy that inspires terror in your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, Noah Dobson offers a fair bit of offense from the back end. Probably more so than anybody in the series, but is that going to be enough for them?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Noah Dobson's probably the best defenseman in this series, but if you look at the Carolina blue line, they've got a bunch of guys that can play top 4 minutes, shut down minutes.
Yeah, big fan of Brent Burns, who showed that he's still got something in the tank, too.
And let's not forget former Rod Langway winner, Jacob Slavin. All arms out there. You can't get past that guy. One of the best in the business.
Okay, guys, so who are you picking?
You know, I think there'll be a lot of very close, hard-fought games, but I think that Carolina goes with a sweep here.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think that this is not going to be the most entertaining series. I could see there being some slow games, some hard-fought games. I'm going to pick the Canes in 5 in a bit of a snoozer.
All right, and these two teams met last season. The Hurricanes came away in 6 games, and I'm going to say it's going to be a repeat. Hurricanes in 6.
All right. Let's slide over to the Sunshine State Showdown. It's the Florida Panthers. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning. And this is going to be a great series, I think. So much talent on both sides.
Yes, lots of offensive pop in this one. The Florida Panthers, led surprisingly by Sam Reinhart this year. He popped off 57 goals. What a season for him. Of course, Matthew Tkachuk. A little bit of a regression from last year, but still 88 points is a great year. Some great two-way play as well from Alexander Barkov. So lots to worry about for T-Bay.
Yeah, well, I don't think T-Bay's too worried because they've got their own studs. They've got Braden Point, who is a proven playoff performer. We've already talked about Nikita Kucherov, the league's leading scorer, 144 points. He looks like the best player in the world right now. And of course, let's not forget the elder statesman, Steven Stamkos. He popped 40 once again, and he is such a threat on their power play.
Very intriguing goaltending battle. Jeff, you want to break it down for us here?
Yeah, I'm super excited about this battle. The Florida Panthers have Sergei Bobrovsky, who had an excellent regular season, finished with a 2.37 GAA and a 915 save percentage. But he's up against Andrei Vasilevsky. Now, Vasilevsky was hurt to start the season. Tampa Bay started off really slow this year, but they picked it up when it mattered the most. Now, Vasilevsky's improved a lot, but he just still doesn't seem like the same guy he was last year.
Yeah, I think that the playoffs are going to bring out the best in him, as they often do, and I would not want to be facing a hot Vasilevsky in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we know he can bring it, especially in those game 7s if it comes down to that. And he's a little more rested than he's been in years past, so watch out.
Yeah, that's true for the entire Tampa Bay Lightning roster. This is going to make them a really dangerous foe.
Interesting to look at how this team stacks up on the back end with the defensemen. Of course, Victor Hedman is the star of this show. What an amazing season for him. Unfortunately, they are missing Mikhail Sergachev. He's been hurt for a while. May not make it into this series if T-Bay can go late. Maybe he can sneak in, maybe for round 2, but that's a big blow for them.
Yeah, there are no Victor Hedmans on the Florida Panther blue line, but they do have some pretty good talent back there. Now, remember, they started the season without Montour and Ekblad, who are both hurt, and Gustav Forsling was playing excellent for them, so watch out for him in this series. The aforementioned 2 injured guys have come back. Ekblad got banged up again. Looks like he will be ready to start the playoffs, and Montour was a little slow out of the gates after being injured, but was a little better in the second half. Watch out for him. He's a great puck mover.
Okay, guys, let's get our picks in. Mark, who are you going with?
You know what? I like Tampa Bay. They're fresh, they're rested, and they're hungry. So I think they're going to take it. It's going to go 7. Watch out for X Factor Nick Paul. He always raises his level in the playoffs.
And John?
Ooh, this is a tough one. This is one of the toughest ones for me to call. I really love the coaching matchup here. Paul Maurice, John Cooper, head-to-head. I'm going to have to give a slight edge to Cooper and the Lightning. I'm going to say Lightning in 7 as well, Mark.
Yeah, John Cooper did an excellent job this season. Tampa Bay led the league in power play and had the 5th best penalty kill. These two teams have met twice recently, and Tampa Bay came away with the win both times. But this time, I'm going to say the Florida Panthers knock them off in 6 games.
Okay, so for our last series here in the East, we have the Boston Bruins versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, game 1 just took place. We just finished watching it here in the Ron Langway Fan Club studios. Lots to talk about for this series. What do you think?
Well, the biggest story has to be the absence of William Nylander in Game 1. The Leafs really could have used his scoring touch. Late in the game, trying to gain the zone on the power play, they couldn't get in, and that's where you need Nylander to skate the puck up the ice. This is a huge loss.
Who doesn't love an original six matchup between the Maple Leafs and the Bruins? And these two teams have some history.
They sure do. Remember 2013?
I do.
2018?
Yes.
How about 2019?
Yeah. This is different, guys. This is 2024. It's going to be different.
Different year. We'll see about the result.
Yes, one of the big storylines going into this series is the matchup at center. Of course, the Boston Bruins, they lose David Krejci, they lose Patrice Bergeron. Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha, they filled in somewhat admirably, 60 points and 59 points. So not too bad, but it does not compete with the firepower that the Toronto Maple Leafs have at the center position, of course, led by Austin Matthews, John Tavares. I mean, they're very dangerous there.
Yeah, no doubt that the Leafs have the edge down the middle, but if you look at the wingers, I think that's where we have to give the edge to the Bruins, led, of course, by David Pastrnak. A little bit of a down year by his lofty standards with 47 goals, but that's still pretty awesome, 110 points. Jake DeBrusk was kind of the hero in Game 1, potting a couple goals. He's been pretty solid down the stretch. And, of course, the pest, the captain, Brad Marchand. You always got to watch out for him in the playoffs.
Yes, it'll be fun to see how he matches up with Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi. They got some grit and sandpaper, and they can stir the pot a little bit as well.
They've also got some soft touches on their forward core. Mitch Marner, a guy who has never delivered in the playoffs. Honestly, guys, I don't think it's going to be his year either. Didn't like what I saw to him in Game 1.
And a big goalie matchup you'd have to give the advantage to the Boston Bruins as they have Jeremy Swayman and Allmark back there. Samsonov got the first look in Game 1, didn't play great.
No, I would not be surprised if we saw Joseph Wall. Hey, maybe even Martin Jones. Or, wait for it, Matt Murray is skating again. There's a fourth option, Jeff. You guys got lots of choices.
Wow, do the Maple Leafs ever need Samsonov to find his game? He's had a real up and down season. He went to the minors briefly. When he came back, he was amazing, but he faltered a little bit near the end. I'm concerned.
Yeah, and it doesn't instill any confidence that their blue line is maybe not as competitive as Boston's is. Morgan Rielly, of course, leading the charge. But in terms of defensive defensemen, I don't really think they have a lot in the tank.
Yeah, I was really surprised they didn't address that at the deadline. Stark contrast, the Bruins are deep on D, of course, led by this year's Rod Langway Award winner, Charlie McAvoy. But don't sleep on guys like Matt Grzelcyk, Brandon Carlo. They're solid on the back end.
Okay, guys, let's get our predictions in. John, who are you going with?
Well, it's tough for me to say this, but I did pick the Toronto Maple Leafs to win the Stanley Cup. I'm going to stick with the Leafs. I'm going to stick with Canada. I'm going to have to say Leafs in 7. They slay the dragon.
Yeah, John, wishful thinking on your part. No Nylander. No chance. This one's over quick. Bruins in 5.
And guys, it pains me to say this, but I'm going to take the Boston Bruins in 7. Of course, it has to be 7.
Okay, let's be merciful. Let's give Jeff some time to wipe those tears out of his eyes. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back with the Western Conference preview.
And John, you got a tune lined up?
Yeah, I got nothing.
You got nothing?
Nothing.
All right, let's hear nothing.